I'm just doing this video for myself as well as you on the other side of the screen, just to see if, if there is much, in using different types of burners, because I am relatively new to alcohol stoves. I did say in one of the videos that I had no interest in it, but now that I've gone there and used the Trangia burner initially and appreciated the silence when cooking, not having to listen to a gas burner like a jet engine, especially when you're out hiking, you want to be able to hear what's going on around you and just enjoy it without having to listen to a jet engine in your ear. Got the Goshawk OP-100 with a claimed weight of 55 grams. I've used this quite a few times. I've just put a magnet either side of that lid just to help extinguish the flame. It has got quite a fine thread. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little nozzles there. A few little flame nozzles, and you'll see those. It's also got like a little silicone O-ring here, whereas the Trangia's got a rubber O-ring. Just be careful, these O-rings do come out from time to time. But yeah, just getting the lid on sometimes with such a fine thread, it's better the more you use it, the easier it gets. Just got to bed that silicone O-ring in. Don't want to damage it. Get that back in there. Got the trusty Trangia burner. Notice it's got a lot more holes than the Goshawk. We'll find out what it all means. One thing I can see the Trangia's got over the Goshawk already is this damper here. Like if you want to do some cooking, regulated flame cooking, like frying or whatever, you can see just that's your full flame, but when you put that on there, that acts as a damper and it comes out through the edge here, and then you can always close it off even more to reduce that flame size. If you're only boiling water, that's probably not going to be a problem. Aluminium can, no guessing what brand it is by the colour of the can. The drink of choice today is methylated spirits. So the first test I want to do is just do a runtime test with a set amount of methylated spirits in each burner, all the same, and just see how long it takes to extinguish the flame, to use up all the methylated spirits. So I'm going to put about 10 mils. I'll use a syringe here. I'll put 10 mil in each one, and we'll just see how long they take to burn. Can, I think, is going to extinguish first. It being an open, it doesn't have these little jets to restrict the flow, but we'll see. That's the whole point of this test, for me to find out and for you to find out as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll just draw up 10 mils. I'll put 10 mils in there. And also I've got to try and light them at similar times. I'm going to try and light these two first and this one. Okay, I'm going to start the watch, the timer. Go. Spin that around. They've been going a minute and a half, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Remembering to take off those 15 seconds, the initial 15 seconds. You can see the Coke can is starting to run out of flame. It's boiling away. Move that back a bit. So you can see there's a slight breeze from the air conditioner in the room here. So you can see the Coke can is very affected by the breeze, what slight breeze there is. Whereas the Goshawk seems to be holding the flame the best. It's like a helix there. The Coke can's very wishy-washy with the flame, which is probably okay for cooking. So we're coming up to about 2 minutes and 45. Let's go back onto those there. We're coming up to about 3 minutes. The Coke can's boiling away, nearly out. The Trangia out is getting empty. The Coke can's just out there. Bang, what was that? So 3 minutes and 10 seconds for the Coke can. The Coke can's out. And now it's on for between the The Trangia is getting empty. I can still see liquid in the bottom of the Goshawk. The Trangia is getting very dry. And you can see the Trangia's flame is dropping down too, whereas the Goshawk is still maintaining a bit of flame. The Trangia is nearly out. Trangia is nearly out. It's out. So take off 15, so just over 4 minutes and 5 seconds. The Goshawk's still going. It's still going, it's still hot. Take off 15 seconds. I think the Goshawk's going to be at least 4.5 minutes. There's 4.5 minutes there. Still going. We might even get, it's spluttering a little bit. We're coming up to 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And that's out. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Given the Goshawk and the Trangia are very similar distances in height, I'm just going to set basically the bottom of the pot to the top of the burner. You're looking at about 1.7 inches, 43.3 millimeters from the top of the burner to the bottom of the pot where it sits in here. We're going to have 2 cups of water. The aluminium can is going to sit a little bit lower, but that doesn't matter. That's just an extra one we put in there. First test we're going to use is a Trangia burner. I've got this Tom Shoe pot, which I've run in the tap water here for a while just to get the temperature equal. So each test I'll run it through tap water just to get the pot the right temperature. Same with tap water. I've got 2 cups of water. That's saying 68 grams. And I've got about 40 mils, which is just over nearly 1.5 ounces of methylated spirit. So I'll pour that in there. And that brings it up to about, just say 100 grams. So I'm just going to put the burner in here. We'll see how long it takes to boil 2 cups of water. Okay, flame's lit. And we'll start that, put that on, put the lid on, see how we go. With the Trangia burner, it's coming up to 4.5 minutes. You can see there's few bubbles forming, there's a little bit of vapor there, so we shouldn't be too far off a boil. We're coming up to 5.5 minutes, we're starting to see some little bubbles there. So we're not far off a boil. I'll leave the lid off, but I've got to move quick to try and extinguish the flame when it boils, so we can measure how much alcohol we've actually used. So we're coming up for 6 minutes, that's nearly a boil. I'd say that's a boil, just over 6 minutes. Yeah, that's a boil there. All right, I've got to act fast here. And the Trangia, you can see it's really roaring at the moment. Extinguish that flame, we'll let it cool a bit so I can weigh it. But basically, just over 6 minutes to boil 2 cups of water with the Trangia burner. That's pretty good. Time to weigh this thing. Lift this out. I'm going to try and lift it out without. So total weight there is 82 grams. Okay, so I had a total weight before of 100 grams. Now it's 82 grams. So that's 18 grams methylated spirits to boil 2 cups or 500 mils. Ready to do the Goshawk. So I'm just going to pour that in there. 89 grams total. So I'll put this in here. Got 2 cups of water which I've measured out. We'll pour that into the Tom Shoe cup. Goshawk, here we go. Let's lit that up. And whoop, wrong cup. Start the timer. Put the Goshawk on. Remember these figures are going to be very approximate, but hopefully accurate as I can get it. There's no fudging. I just want to know for myself. There's no influence from any brand here or any company, especially this company here, which is going to be very interesting. We're going to do that the last to see how the basic alcohol is going to fare. Of course, I better put the lid on, make it fair. Put that on there. Okay, we're about at the 6.5 minute mark now with the Goshawk. Now filling, one thing to note, it has taken a while to start to bloom. The Trangia is definitely quicker, but we'll see how much fuel it actually uses. to see which one's more efficient. So if you are hiking and you've got plenty of time, it's not all about boil times. It could come down more down to efficiency. And you noted before when we did the burn test, when the 3 burners were all side by side, was the Goshawk wasn't really affected by any breeze as much as the Trangia or the can here, Aluminium Can. We're getting close here. It's 7 minutes 40. 8 minutes is up. I'm going to leave the lid off now so you can see it up there. It's pretty close to a boil at about 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes. All right, we'll act quickly here so we can get this flame extinguished. To extinguish this. Now, I don't want to try and get this out without spilling it. Let's get this weighed as quick as possible. 73 grams. 73 grams, I'll write that down. 16 grams of alcohol to boil 2 cups of water. And the time is, whatever, I'll put the time on the screen because I can't remember what it was. And it was 18 grams of alcohol with the Trangia burner to boil 2 cups of water. So the Goshawk to boil 2 cups of water is 2 grams more efficient. Whether there's discrepancies there, I don't know. We're going to do the last test here, which is just with a bare can. Aluminium can. Okay, the last test of the series is the aluminium can. It's 5 grams. I've got the 40 ml, which is in 1.5 ounces thereabouts, but we're just going to weigh everything here. Well, hopefully don't spill it. So total weight is 36 grams. Okay, I've got to act quickly because I don't want it to evaporate too much. I'm just a bit nervous with extinguishing this flame because the Trangia cap won't fit over that. There's our 2 cups of water. Open can, let's go. That's a light. Start, let's go. Lid on. I'd say this could possibly be the quicker to boil the water. But yeah, I've always just been fascinated to see how just an open can with a bit of fuel in it or alcohol in it will burn and how efficient it is. Because whether there is any science in some of these alcohol burners or not. Okay, we're at the 5-minute mark. There's a lot of noise coming out of this. And actually, it's probably not doing as good as I thought it would. Okay, we're starting to see, we're going to get close to a boil. So we've got 6 minutes erupted there. I've got to act pretty quickly in a minute. We're nearly at a boil. 6 minutes and 10 seconds. That's pretty good. 6.5 minutes thereabouts. All right. This is the bit I'm a bit nervous about, is actually putting this flame out. Hopefully I can extinguish it with this. See how much we used. Zero that. Just want to do this without spilling it. There's not much left, I don't think. Okay, we've got a total of 17 grams. So 36 grams minus 17. I had to think about that one then. So I've got 19 grams with the tin can to boil 2 cups of water. With the Trangia, I had 18 grams to boil 2 cups of water. And then with the Goshawk, I had 16 grams. But like I said, how you define a boil, I probably should have put a thermometer on it. But to me, they're really relatively close. As far as setting it up in the firebox here, you know, I just wanted to stick it on the bottom, just had all the heights, same height. Just wanted to keep everything fairly similar. And I'd like to hear your thoughts because maybe this test is flawed in some ways. I found the Goshawk was probably better in a little slight breeze because had that more of a helix effect as opposed to the Trangia and the aluminum can. Any little bit, tiny bit of breeze, it was affected. It was blowing. You know, you could see it moving around. One thing to really factor in is because the Goshawk and the Trangia burner have both got lids on them. You know, you can put your alcohol in there if you're going to be using it within a couple of days. I don't think you want to leave it in there too long because sometimes they can corrode. Apparently, any bit of moisture in the methylated spirits. But the good thing is, if you are going to be using it with a day or so, you can fill it up, put your lid on, That's all ready to go. Same with the Trangia. Fill it up. Just be careful with the Trangia also, is that O-ring always tends to fall out if you're not careful, especially when you're in the bush. I've found it on the ground a couple of times, it's come out, so just be mindful of that. Also, what I did find too, because I was using it the other night, using this as the heat has affected the magnet. The magnet no longer works. So as far as which one you want to use is up to you. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. If you like whatever you like. The Goshawk is that thread. It's quite a fine thread, and if you're not careful, you can cross thread it. But after using it a couple of times, it's definitely a lot easier to start again. But sometimes when it was new, the burrs were a little bit fresh, and that's a bit hard to start. I'll just take that O-ring off. But with the Trangia burner, the thread's a lot coarser, so it's a lot easier to start. As far as durability goes, time will tell. Personally, I still prefer to use the Trangia, only because you can vary the flame, because I was cooking the other night with it, and I found it better to cook with. Just putting that on there, and even closing that down. Once it heats up, they start to get, obviously it starts to boil the liquid, and they start to get a bit more of a raw going, or the flame gets a bit more aggressive. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.